He's peering over to what his wife is voting. What if he's like a child?
What a weird man.
Yeah. Which he might be our president. No, I'm just kidding.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the P-Funk and Fro Show. My name is Austin Flew, and with me, as always,
Anthony Gorman.
it's a one-on-one episode this week, folks.
Oh, it's going to be intense.
It is going to be intense. Today is actually a really exciting day. We're getting back to our roots, doing a one-on-one P-Funk and Fro episode on no day other than the election day.
Yeah, big day.
So today's November 8th. I just went and voted in Ohio for the first time ever.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, because you got your driver's license.
Yep.
In Ohio?
Last week.
Is this the first time with driver's license in Ohio as well?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I finally made the jump. It was weird getting my driver's license because I've had the Indiana one forever, and now it really... And my roots still feel like I'm grounded in Indiana, and I feel like they always will, but having a different driver's license really makes everything feel weird and different. Like, oh, maybe I am a resident in another state now, you know?
Yeah, it kind of like hammers it home, I would imagine. Because like when I was looking at that place, like Tyler's place in Kentucky,
yeah,
like
in Covington,
going there and just kind of letting fate decide where I live, basically. That was a weird thing because like in a year or two, my driver's license would be expired, and I would have to.
It's weird, yeah.
Have Kentucky driver's license. That'd be weird.
It's messed up.
Yeah.
It's throwing me off.
Does it look weird? Like when you look at it, like,
I mean, so the good thing about me getting this license is it's the first time in a while that I've actually looked like the picture in my driver's license.
Oh, wow.
Because
really?
like I got it taken when I was a sophomore in high school.
Okay.
So it was when I had hair down to my back.
Right, yeah.
So every time I'd go anywhere where I got carded, they do the thing where they look at it and then they look at me. And then they look at it again.
They're like, is this?
Like, what are you trying? But then I think they realized that, like, nobody would just use this thing that looks completely different.
Right.
Unless it was definitely them.
Yeah. And it's not like you're getting, like, alcohol with it or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's usually when people try to
it's when
do shady things.
It's when I'm going to, like, a bar.
Oh, okay, yeah. That'll still happen. Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. So, yeah, I finally got the license, finally voted, and we're sitting here watching CNN as everything kind of pans out.
Yeah, and I have 538.com up here, just seeing what things are changing, and that's like the aggregation of all the polls in the nation, kind of like coming together, giving like estimations of what's happening. So it's kind of crazy.
I can't believe we're actually towards the tail end of this whole thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a relief.
It is a huge relief. Yeah, and we won't get like too political with this podcast.
Right.
It's just like this is all happening in the background and creating this neat like kind of aura around us right now.
Exactly. Yeah, there's like an excitement in the air, even though I didn't vote. Exactly.
So, Anthony, you bring up the first topic that I want to talk about.
Right.
So, since we were born, growing up, going through school, college, everything, everybody always hammers into you like, go vote.
Civic duty
to vote your mind. It doesn't matter if you know the candidates, if you know anything or not, but go vote. So, I've heard a lot of detracting opinions to that statement. People thinking like, why even vote if you don't know what you're voting for? Like if you go in the voting booth and you look and you see a bunch of strangers, people that you don't even know, what's the point of voting? Like, is it better just to not cast a vote at all because your opinion isn't, you don't have an opinion at all? Or do you think people should just vote for the sake of voting? Like, what is your opinion on that whole stance?
Think everybody should vote. And I think most people vote for philosophies. So it's the right or the left philosophy. So it's not necessarily... I mean, this election, it kind of seems like it's, personalized with the candidates. Like, I really don't like this person, not the Republicans, but this person, Trump. Or I really don't like Hill Dog because, not instead of like Democrats.
Yeah.
It seems real personal.
I really don't like pantsuits.
Yeah, pantsuits just, rustle my Jimmy. But I don't know if anybody's ever said that in the world. Pantsuits, rustle my jimmies.
I think
but there's got to be someone out there.
Well, if not, you just blaze that trail.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
okay. So you think everyone should vote?
So I think everybody should vote, but I think largely people vote on philosophies, and that's kind of, I would too. Like back when so this is the first time I've not voted since I've been legally able to vote.
Since you've been franchised, as they say.
Well, since 18.
Yeah.
So I'm 34 now. So it's been, long time voting. And then, this will be the first time. I've been kind of like out of the whole political scene this time around. But it's not only that. It's I really, really dislike both.
Yeah.
Like kind of to the core. Like I really just do not like it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I could vote on like kind of the local things, but I mean, I'm in Hamilton County now, and I'm still registered in Warren. Yeah. That's not as big of a deal, but I mean, when you look at like the Senate race in Ohio, it's like way going to be Republican. Like the
Is it?
Yeah.
Is the incumbent Republican?
Yeah.
See, I don't even know this. Like, I don't even know these details having just moved here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I just looked it up on that site.
Okay.
So they had a like 98% chance that the incumbent Republican is going to whatever.
Dang.
But so there's no real bills or not bills, but issues that I'm really wanting to vote for on the local level either. So it's kind of pointless. So it's almost, I haven't really been shouting from the rooftops, oh, I'm not voting and this is why. I'm quietly just kind of, I've told you, but some people, but I don't just shout it out because it's really just, it's personal to me, and I don't really I hate both, and I've
It's funny that you say it's personal now, projecting it,
Yeah, now I'm
I feel like this is
I
more
am protesting.
I mean, I feel like it is more of a kind of a personal thing that we do though on the podcast,
Yeah, what do you mean?
So I mean, you say it's personal, but you're recording it for 70 people. But I feel like at the same time, this is kind of a personal thing that we do anyway.
Yeah, we kind of air out our personal ideas, and that's kind of. Well, the poll we had was the deeper thoughts, people like that.
Right.
So,
yeah, that's true.
So I voted Republican and Democrat through my time, and this is just, whatever. I do what I feel. I'm not gonna. So it's don't vote for Trump or vote Hillary to battle Trump or vote Trump to battle Hillary. Mm-hmm. But when you dislike both of them to the core.
Yeah.
You run out of options. And Gary Johnson's just that would just be
I can't.
Yeah, it's just whatever,
Yeah, he seems like a cool guy and a genuine person. Yeah. But he doesn't seem presidential to me, just based on the things that I've seen. Nah. And that comes from not much research, but just, a few different things.
Yeah, he was all right on the Joe Rogan Experience, but, he's obviously never going to get in it. And there were some things I agree with, but there were some things that I didn't.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I think it all comes down to, and I was thinking about this the other day, it is so difficult to be well informed. It takes a lot of effort to be well informed.
It is. And the first time Obama was running, holy crap, I spent unbelievable amount of effort and time just reading. I read his book, Dreams of My Father, and I was online and battling online with him I don't really do anymore.
Those days are behind you.
Yeah, because you just get in loops with people, and it's just never ending. Yeah. But I think I'm kind of scarred from that experience because I totally got sucked in. This is kind of another reason where this all came from. So I got totally sucked into Obama and his campaign. Totally hook, line, sinker. And I do believe he was a great president. Looking back now, throughout the 8 years, I didn't agree with a lot of things, with Snowden and just his drone assassins, right? Or just killing people around the world. Yeah. But overall, I think history is gonna look down on his, or in a bright light. It'll be a very positive light. Yeah. His presidency.
I agree.
So I don't I regret voting for him, but it's just. It's hearing his promises and believing them, hook, line, and sinker, and then seeing where that doesn't really pan out, with Guantanamo Bay and all that stuff like that.
Yeah, Guantanamo Bay. Yeah,
yeah. Which he was very convinced, I'm going to close down Guantanamo Bay and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and to his credit, I think he came close. I think it's down to 60-ish prisoners when it used to be up in the thousands or something like that.
That's true, yeah.
So I feel like he's been actively working at it.
Yeah.
I feel like he's really thought he was going to, Yeah. But you're right. You're right.
But I can't things that I can't think of right now that were just I remember just through the 8 years what? Come on. Yeah. But overall, it's definitely been a very positive presidency.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just nothing on either side now.
Right.
That excites me for anything.
Yeah. And I feel like the more that you look into both sides, the more that you're going to feel that way. Like, because on the outside, people are playing the team game right now where it's like, I typically vote Republican, so Hillary is the worst person in the world. Or I typically vote Democrat and the opposite, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And, I mean, those people have, very strong opinions, but the people that actually take the time to look into the issues and look into the problems with both candidates.
Yeah. They're both terrible.
That takes a lot of effort because that information is not readily available. Especially like if you're looking for negative information about Hillary Clinton specifically, that can be really hard to come by, and you really have to dig for that because they're not going to project it on the news.
Well,
for the most
Fox
part.
News will do it, but
I mean, sort of.
Yeah, there's things like Benghazi and all, but a lot of the things that are negative against her are just, I feel like they're just blown way out of proportion. But it's the same on both sides, honestly. But like, they just like the email thing. It's just like she admitted it already. What I don't know. Now it sounds like I'm defending her, but
it's hard. That's the whole
what
thing.
What she
is
did
like,
was wrong, and technically, anybody other than her, like someone in like the CIA or whatever, had private servers with confidential information like that or whatever. Yeah, that would not be good.
Yeah, right.
They'd go to jail.
Without a doubt.
But yeah, I mean, no one believes that she'll ever go to jail for that. But
right.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so hard, though, is because it's so hard to find this information and it takes so much effort to be well informed. You got to think that what percentage of people in the United States are taking that amount of time? Like no one probably.
No, well, yeah. So we have to rely a lot on other people's expertise with the media and everything for especially all these issues. Specifically like personal issues with each candidate. So like Benghazi and emails with Hillary, and then Trump's past and all that, bankruptcies and things like that. You kind of have to just trust your outlet of information that's flowing through. And that's what's really difficult is these days everything is so polarized that you have to it's hard to get a well-rounded opinion on politics because one source will be leaning one way or the other. So you almost have to try to diversify your sources coming in. Yeah. Reddit's a good job with that, but Reddit is, man, it's
very liberal.
Yeah, I can tell, whatever. Yeah. Like MSNBC is way liberal. So I know that
and they all
even on Reddit, that's usually a democracy of information that's really a good mix of like, Apple or Android and things like that. Yeah. But when it comes to politics, Reddit is definitely liberal.
It's that internet culture, really.
Right, yeah, internet culture in general. It's like the younger crowd. Yep. Not necessarily all younger crowd, but it's definitely younger geared. And that's kind of like the whole, Democrats, a lot of their base is the educated, college kids. And things like that. But yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
It's difficult, but yeah.
Yeah. Like you said, just to come back with what you're saying, it is a lot of work, and it's not only just the work is not only just the subject matter, but it's also like the sources. So it's like, how do I diversify that stuff? I used to go to BBC when I was in college to attempt to, get whatever.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Completely outside.
And I did that for a couple years, and that was really cool. Plus, we had like the BBC channel on cable. And I was like new to cable, so I'm like, yes, I'm getting like an outside whatever. But Britain is, American ally, so then you have a Western style of leaning everything.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So it's
so it's even looking at that, it's
right?
Hard,
so when you listen to BBC and read BBC, and you want like an actual like well balanced worldview, then it's like okay, BBC may be bipartisan. Now it's like leaning west, you know, like that's always going to lean west, and you don't really get like the Russian or like even Islamic whatever side of things.
It's just like every source of information that's easily accessible, like news. You just turn on the TV and there's news there, or you open your Twitter feed. It's all specifically crafted to pump a specific type of information at you. Yeah, and that's why it's so easy to fall into these like
the current or
it's so easy to get caught up in these currents and just not think and just let people talk at you and not do your own research or develop, because it's like,
and then world news, everything that we read in English is usually probably going to be Western slant. Yeah, so that's a whole nother thing.
It's just really hard.
Right,
it's really hard, and I don't know the answer, Anthony.
But we got Google Translate now, so that's changing things.
True.
But yeah,
so in an attempt to not get too political.
Right. Yeah, we just like talked like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not going to get too political, but for the next 10 minutes.
Anyways, I hate everybody.
But yeah, so that's cool.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So yeah, I mean, should vote, shouldn't vote. Really, it's up to you. Whatever you want to do, wherever your allegiances lie.
I still think you should vote. I'm not voting this year. Yeah. Personal reasons, like I don't, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree in the importance of voting and whatever, but this time, first time since 18.
Yeah.
Sitting out.
Yeah.
Sitting out on this one.
And I respect that decision.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Anytime, Anthony.
Yep.
But if you like the P-Funk and Fro Show, once again, facebook.com/group/PFunkandFro. I'd really like to get as many people as possible into this group because everyone that's in there right now is awesome.
Yeah.
Lots of support. All of you for being in that group and answering the polls and commenting on the different posts and everything. It's huge, and it's only a group of 30 people, so to have that amount of like, all those comments and stuff, so consistently, it's really cool, and I appreciate everything that you guys do. But if you would like to share that with your friends, share the podcast with your friends, like, subscribe, share, so that we can build that group.
Definitely.
I love the idea of being able to go somewhere and just like run a question by you guys and get a bunch of answers and a bunch of opinions, because like really, you're the opinions that matter most because you listen to the show and you're the actual.
And the last poll that you put out was pretty well received.
Yeah, it was pretty extensive. But yeah, so thanks doing that, and follow the Twitter at @pfunkandfro. Next topic I want to talk about. This is something that I really hope that I can express cohesively because it's been running through my head for a while now.
Okay.
It's the idea of human inertia.
Okay.
So mental inertia.
Okay.
So we know what regular inertia is, right? So
like in physics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isaac Newton,
Yeah.
1686 or whatever.
Apples and stuff.
Yeah, apples and stuff. Object in motion stays in motion, object at rest, unless acted upon by an external force stays at rest, right?
Wow, that's pretty much textbook, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I did my Wikipedian before I came on the podcast. But
yeah, and he did not read that off anything.
I did not, just looking straight in the face. But, so, it applies to physics, but I also feel this in a huge way in my own life.
How so?
So, like, not just in that if I'm running, like, I get stopped by a thing and I stop running. It's not like that.
The cop stops you, like, I'm in motion.
Yeah. But it's more of like, if I'm on a certain path, then it's easy to stay on that certain path. But if I'm being lazy and stagnant, it's really hard to motivate myself to get up and go.
To get out of that,
yeah. So let me go back and like do some backstory first to kind of talk about how this came into my head in the first place. So,
okay.
And the subsection of this topic is why I can never do drugs.
Oh, really?
So this is
yeah, I did not know about any of this.
Okay, so this is it's all interrelated and all kind of connected in a different way. So I hope I can talk about this in a way that makes sense. But basically, yesterday I gave into a bunch of indulgences in a row.
Okay.
Beginning with candy.
Candy's not a drug, but okay.
No,
well I mean,
drugs are not going to actually come up in this. This is just.
Okay.
But anyway.
Yeah, I'm focusing too much on drugs.
Yeah, sure. So I'm at my house, and Halloween was last week or whatever, the week before, whatever, by the way. And we gave out candy to kids, and we had a bunch of candy left over because almost no kids came to our house because I guess
which is crazy.
Halloween is dying or something. So I brought in these 2 giant bowls of candy, and they're just sitting on my table. And I lasted at my house.
Oh, okay.
So we'll get there, but so I brought them in, and they've been sitting on my kitchen table in my house. These just 2 big bowls of candy. And I lasted like 2 weeks without taking any of the candy. But yesterday I worked from home and I went to the store and I came back and I just like, I can have one.
And you have 2 roommates, so they weren't taking candy?
They're both mega healthy too. They might have been taking some, but they were sneaking it and I didn't know. I don't know. But there's a cop outside. Do you hear the ambulance outside?
It's starting.
So yeah.
Oh my God. The riots are starting. I'm just kidding.
But anyway, so I take one piece of candy. It's a Crunch Bar. I love Crunch Bars. Crunch Bars are dope.
Yeah.
I eat one. I'm like, I'm still alive. I can eat another one. Guess how many freaking Anthony? I lost count of how many candy bars I ate.
Oh my God.
I don't even know.
When it's a pile of wrappers, then it's like, you feel the shame.
Exactly. And I didn't even, and I felt like garbage afterwards, and it didn't end there, Anthony. So after I went down this path of like giving into these indulgences, I went to the mall. Right? Yeah. I can't even remember why I had to go there. Oh, it's because my phone.
Because you were hopped up on sugar.
Oh, yeah. So
you kind of hopped up right now.
So next, I thought my headphones broke. Because I'm plugging into my headphones and the left headphone is going out, like, you know how that happens.
Yeah.
So I checked a bunch of stuff and I'm on the internet and I'm like, finger on the trigger, ready to buy another $150 pair of headphones.
Whoa,
before I realized it's not the headphones, it's actually my phone jack. And I almost bought those headphones, Anthony. I was in a place of weakness. I almost bought them, but I didn't.
Do you think it was candy induced?
No.
Oh, okay.
And this may all sound unrelated now, but it'll all come full circle in a minute. So anyway, that's why I had to go to the mall, because I went to the mall because they have those booths that'll fix your phone.
The boots and the phone. Okay.
So I checked a bunch of the different booths, and because in the back of my head, I know that if I take myself to the mall, I won't be able to resist going to the food court.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So, like I said, this is all going to sound random and unrelated, but at the end, it's all going to come full circle, and it's going to be all completely... So just stick with me on this ride that we're going to go... So I go to the mall, and I'm going to all these different booths and blah, 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 and none of them can fix my phone. One of them gives me a business card, but I end up going to the food court, getting China Max, unhealthy. I've been trying to eat healthier, and spend less money. I have plenty of food at home I could have eaten, but I went to China Max and I ate anyway. And then I'm like, you know what? I heard about this drink at Starbucks that I've been hearing about for a while that I should try out. So I go to Starbucks, can't resist going to Starbucks, and get this sugary coffee drink. That's another $4 because Starbucks is ridiculous for a small.
An unknown amount of grams of sugar.
It ended up sucking. So I only took like a couple sips and threw it away. Then I go to GameStop waiting for it to cool off. You see a brand new Rise of the Tomb Raider over there that I bought. $60. A $60 game. Couldn't resist buying it. Saw it was shiny. This sequence, do you see what I'm saying? This sequence of This sequence of impulses based on like weakness.
It's
just a sudden urge.
Oh, yeah. So
sudden hit of just weakness all around.
It sounded like that day, like instant gratification is what you needed.
Yes.
For like anything.
Or that's what I wanted.
Like that's what I wanted.
And it started with the candy. So so it's like this kind of brings me full circle to kind of the point I'm making. So like when I'm on a health kick, I'm on a health kick.
Yeah.
I don't eat any candy. I don't eat any like trash, pasta, anything like that. I'm working out every day and I'm running because that's the path that I'm on. Yeah. As soon as I eat one piece of candy, that piece of candy is the external force that knocks me off focus and causes me to stagnate.
Right.
That switch is flipped off and all of a sudden I'm giving into all these indulgences.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So it's like,
So it's like, and I have a lot more examples in my notes too that we'll get into, but it's like, this brings me to another thing where it's like, basically, I feel like I'm not healthy because I have a huge amount of willpower and because I have a lot of like diligence to keep working out and everything.
Okay.
I feel like I'm healthier and eat better because I just know that I have no willpower, so I don't buy the things that are unhealthy.
I think a lot of people are like that. Like especially like health nuts. I feel like exactly what you said. So once you're on that kick, and that was kind of the same way with me. I just, like you said, willpower. Like when I lost all that weight from like, what was it, 265, 270 to like,
I don't remember.
I think it was like maybe 250, whatever it was.
Yeah.
255-ish down to like 175, whatever. Yeah. I just basically, it was 7 months of, I just never allowed myself, like you said, to like have that one candy bar.
Right.
I just didn't. And like on the weekends, I would like loosen up, but not really, like during that 7-month chunk. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Because it was I just knew that if I started something, it would just, not necessarily spiral, but it would be like a week of just like, falling behind or whatever.
Yeah. And this is why I can't do drugs, Anthony.
Yeah, that's okay, yeah.
Because like once I get a taste of something, it's like, oh, I'm still alive. I can keep doing it.
Well,
like the candy.
Yeah. So
and I know it would be the same way.
It definitely depends on the drug, but yeah, like some drugs will definitely, if you get addictive.
Yeah.
Like addictive tendencies or whatever.
I think I do.
Personality.
Yep.
Yeah, so that would be bad.
Yeah.
But some drugs are just not chemically addictive in the brain that are, quasi legal in this country.
Sure.
But I mean, some people can get addicted to the lifestyle of those quasi legal. I'm talking about marijuana. so some people can get addicted to like the lifestyle of that. Yeah. And that's also kind of bad because then you get in like this big life rut.
Right.
So yeah, everything in moderation, of course.
Yeah.
But I completely agree, and I'm kind of like in the same realm. I know everybody's like, oh, you guys always agreed with each other or whatever. But yeah, when I went through that, like it was basically the core 7 month of weight loss. It was definitely health or nothing. I had to, it was just like boom, nothing. And then once I saw like the 2 pounds a week kind of dropping down, I was like, I'm never stopping this until I get huge, to like the core whatever.
That was your reward.
Yeah, it was like, it was.
Yeah.
I weighed myself every day, like I think twice a day, and it just never stopped.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But I always like looked in the mirror at myself and be like, that's not like me. I don't picture it. Like my residual self-image is not that. I am now like back in my residual self-image, and that I can't express like how much that makes me feel like much better. Like no matter how shitty of a day I'm having, like the fact that I'm back to like me, you know. And some people like actually all the people at work only knew me as my, you know, like heavier self or whatever. So now like that's why it was kind of weird seeing that big drastic change, because like other people are like, oh my God, but they kind of remember me as back when I was like not heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting. Yeah. I don't know how I got on that, but
yeah. No, yeah. I mean, it's all related to the health and stuff and everything, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's completely like the whole inertia thing. And I'm not the first one to say like human inertia or whatever. You can read a lot of blogs online about it too, but like it doesn't only work with negative things. So it's not only like I ate that first piece of candy, now I'm going down that unhealthy path and eating a lot.
Yeah.
But it's also like after all that happened yesterday, I actually went on a run at like 8:30 at night. And I got back and I was like, I feel really accomplished and really productive. And it made me want to clean my room. So I clean this place spotless. And then it's like, I don't want to go to bed yet. Not because like I'm not tired, but because I just got this taste of productivity and I don't want to stop. This is kind of how I was when I was in school too, because I would go to work and be productive. And then I would come home and I had to be productive. And then when I was done with homework, I would sit there and like, I don't know what to do with myself now, because it's like I have to be productive, because it's like I'm on that path, you know. Mm-hmm. It's that inertia that I just have to keep going and going and going, and I feel like a lot of people are that way too. So it can be a good thing as well, but good things turn bad too. And when school ended and I didn't have anything to come home to, I had to find other ways to be productive or just get used to just chilling, because like that's unsustainable.
Do you have do you have a history of chilling at all? Like, I know that sounds like a weird question.
I mean, I chilled to the max. So my last year of Ivy Tech, so my last year of my associate's degree, I had one class, and it was once a month, and it got canceled twice.
I remember you telling me.
So I would wake up every day, lay in bed, and play Animal Crossing on my 3DS.
Okay, see.
For half the day, not do anything, watch Netflix, go to my friend's house, and this was like an entire semester.
So that's a history of chilling.
And as a kid, like I would come home and play video games and like eat junk food all the time. So it's like it hasn't always been this way. So it's that inertia.
Because right now, and I think a lot of people at work and even in podcast, people just hearing what we've been doing just with like vacations and stuff. Like I'm directing this towards you, but like how you're going on like random vacations, and like it seems like there's really no downtime for you. Do you think is this a recent phenomenon, or are you going to be like doing this moving forward where you're constantly like, let's go?
I think it's going to depend on all of the external sources, because so for example, I was like that a lot, going on vacations, blah, 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 especially coming home from Canada. So I came home from Canada. It's like recently, adventure. Now I want to go and do something. Yeah. But after that, and after CrossFit ended, and especially after I ended that relationship that I talked about a couple weeks ago, I discovered a lot of excess free time. Yeah. And I wasn't sure exactly what to do with it. So because of that, I was just, and this is the other thing I wanted to hit on. I was sitting there and like scrolling through Facebook and scrolling through Twitter at my house, and like it would put me in this lull where I was just a slug.
Really?
Yeah. So it's almost like I have to line up a lot of activities that make me want to be productive. Okay. And then that kind of kicks off my brain and makes me continue that productivity with other things. But if I don't have plans and if I don't have things to do, then I'm just going to be a slug, I feel like. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does. What would you say your resting state would be like in life? Would it be the go, or the like basically in an ideal like life, would it be go? I guess I'm trying to think of like the same question back to me. But go. Yeah.
I think it would be more leaning towards the going, because like even when I do get those segments of time when I don't have much to do, I relish it for a moment because that's what I wanted. Mm-hmm. But then I almost instantly, I'm recharged now. I feel like I have to do something. Yeah. So you got to have both, but I feel like if I were to say like a resting state, it would be like the going more. Right. Because even at work, like it would be really easy to not do much. But true, it's boring.
Right. Exactly. I know exactly what you're saying. Like like how you said like both states are kind of important. I feel like I'm the same way, where I would prefer to be going and like adventuring than to be comfortable and not necessarily like a couch potato, but like I don't want to get into a life rut. And that's my like thing right now. So I want to keep learning new things, even though it kind of seems like any evening or whatever, like just being on the internet and like having news on the background or something like that. Like I'm constantly like learning, like I constantly like reading new things and people's experiences and it kind of all, a lot of that information comes from Reddit just because I've like tailored my feed of what I get to like my interests. So it's like travel, solo travel, politics, technology, whatever. So it's all this new stuff, information. And I just want to keep doing like new vacations and things. So I would prefer to be in a constant state of change-ish, basically.
It's addictive, right?
It is. Yeah, it is. Like new experiences. Well, I feel like, I don't know. I mean, sitting at home watching like, that's what, in the past, I felt like the fact that I was on the internet with TV on in the background was kind of like being a dud or whatever, but my brain is like constantly firing. Like if I didn't have a laptop and I was just watching a sitcom, like one of those like canned sitcoms with the canned laughter, and it's just like everyday family, and it's just like I understand why some people like it. I don't think I'll ever get to that ever again. Like, or ever. I don't think I've ever been like that. Like, I don't know.
I was definitely like that, but I completely agree. I don't think I'll ever get there again.
I don't think I could do that again.
Yeah.
If I was like that. So,
like you said,
I just can't sit there and just, I don't know, have my brain idle just watching like a low energy show, low mental energy show.
Yeah. And I feel, like you said, like the reason I think most people do that is because you can turn your brain off and you can come home from work and not think about it. And I was that way too a long time ago. Not a long time ago. But when I was like a kid, I would come home from school and just turn on the TV and just sit there and just chill, because it's like, what else am I going to do?
Yeah.
But
just watch fabricated drama and reality shows.
SpongeBob.
I can't do that. Yeah.
But at the same time, I think we live in a society now, in a world now, where we're so used to multiple sources of information coming into our brains and eyes and ears at the same time at any point of the day. Like, look what we're doing right now. We have CNN on in the background while we're podcasting with my phone in front of me. You've got a laptop, and I'm looking at like audio levels on the left side.
Exactly.
It's like, this is what we're used to nowadays.
Exactly.
And I feel like sitting down to watch a sitcom, like even
with
people that do that nowadays probably have their phone, like almost everyone, or probably are playing like a video game too in the background. And it's like,
I think I just had an epiphany with the balance of that. So it seems like someone like that would just be constantly like, when does your brain like chill out, Yeah. And I think that's during my exercise time. So I exercise almost an hour a day during a week, and that is like Zen time. So when I was doing the bike trail for like 2 hours 2 times a week, I think that was my like brain reset. So like your brain obviously churns through everything that you're learning and experiences overnight, whatever, in its funky little way it does when you dream. But like during the day, you also need downtime just so you don't like frazzle yourself. And I think like, because as you were talking about this, it's like, man, now it sounds like we're just a couple of spazzes. We're gonna need like 4 inputs at all times. Right. Mm-hmm. But honestly, like because you exercise 5 days a week at work, or 4 days
usually.
a week?
Different exercises based on what day it is, but I usually exercise almost every day.
But it's still kind of, even if you have something in the background, you're kind of listening, it's still like where you're not thinking about work or whatever, and you're just, I don't know, at least for me it is.
Yeah, and this actually brings me perfectly into my next topic. But before we get there, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back with episode 26 of the P Funk and Fro Show, ladies and gentlemen. And we're back. Welcome back to episode 26 of the P Funk and Fro Show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
What up?
Once again, if you like this, facebook.com/groups/P Funk and Fro. We would love you to join.
Do it!
And follow us on Twitter at P Funk and Fro. Thanks for being my hype man, Anthony.
No problem.
You guys wanted the deep talks, man. We're hitting you with the deep talks today. I'm loving it. This is awesome. This is why I love having guests.
Yeah.
But I really like relish
we
our
can really
one-on-one
like
time
go
sometimes.
into we can dive down.
Yeah. So what we were talking about before, we were talking about in our daily life, we have all of these constant inputs of data from every direction.
Mm-hmm.
And when do we get time to relax? And your first answer was
exercising. Yeah.
Exercising, which actually is exactly what I wanted to talk about next. So
Okay.
I actually tried out a new form of exercising for the first time over the weekend. I posted about this in the group. Yeah.
Okay.
And I've actually done it a couple times before, but not really like this before.
Okay.
That being yoga.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Sorry.
So if you saw that in the group, yeah, you know what I'm about to talk about basically. But to get into it a little bit more, so I was in Indiana over the weekend, and one of my little brother's moms does this like free yoga class that you can come to the library and do like yoga, like really light beginner yoga.
Yeah, just the introduction. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did it with my brother and my dad. So we went there, and I was like, this is really cool. It wasn't heavy duty at all, but it was cool, and like I liked the idea of a certain time during the week that I can go and get to achieve this mental clarity that I don't get normally in my day-to-day.
Mental. Okay. I mean, so for a beginner, what would you put your flexibility? Would you between a scale of like a brick and Stretch Armstrong?
I'd say I'm pretty flexible.
Okay, yeah, more towards Flex Armstrong, or whatever his name is.
Stretch Armstrong.
Some people are like bricks, man. You cannot bend them.
I haven't seen that dude in forever, but but yeah, I'm pretty flexible. I'm not like friggin'. I can't do the splits, so I'm not there yet.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah.
But I'm pretty flexible for somebody that never does yoga.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I liked the idea. I like the idea of going somewhere in a peaceful environment where there's nothing else to think about, and I could just do these exercises. Yeah. That's Anthony's ringtone for everybody. It's curious. But so what I did was the next day when I'm back up here in the Cincinnati area in Kenwood, I looked around for official yoga businesses, places that you can go and do yoga with a group.
Okay.
And I found one. So Sunday I woke up and I ran a couple miles, and then I went and did yoga. And this is all I'm talking about with that inertia thing. Like,
yeah, that's what I was about to say.
That inertia, like I got kicked off and I wanted to keep going, but so I tried it, and man, yoga, it was hot yoga.
Oh, I was just, that's what I was going to bring up next. Yeah.
Hot yoga is way harder than I ever expected.
That's what I hear from the Joe Rogan Experience.
Really?
Yet again. Mention it. How many podcasts in a row have I mentioned Joe Rogan Experience? Alice Fitz. Every podcast we do. Anyways. But I've heard that hot yoga is not to be messed around with.
No, it really isn't. So I went in there without a water bottle. I was very hydrated because I drank a lot of water before that. Yeah. But I went in there and I'm like, oh my God. It starts off a little bit easier.
Yeah, tell me about that. I've never even
So the way it works is you go into this room, you lay down your yoga mat, and you're surrounded, if you're in a populated area, by a lot of different people that are also laying down the yoga mats or whatever. Yeah. And then the instructor comes in, and there's music playing in the background, and it's like hardwood floors and mirrors everywhere, so you can kind of see yourself. Yeah. So you can see what poses you're doing.
Are they super zen?
Well, so
I'm just kidding.
It wasn't as zen as I expected.
Okay.
So the music in the background wasn't this like slow, smooth, like yoga music like I expected until the end. So the way it is, it's kind of like a parabola, like how you explain stuff. So it starts out kind of light, and then in the middle, it gets really, really intense. And you're doing really intense like core workouts, one of which is like, so imagine you're almost in a plank position, but your wrists and your elbows are on the ground.
Because you have no equipment.
And this is all your body, basically, unless you get a block or something.
Yeah.
But so you're on your knees, and your wrists and your elbows are on the ground too in front of you. So you're kind of planking, but not really. Okay. One of the workouts is you raise up your left hand and your right leg.
Okay.
So you're only holding yourself up on one arm and one leg.
And it's like cross, your
and
muscles,
then you move them to the sides. So you move your left hand to the left side and your right leg to the right side, and you're only holding them, and then you move them back and forth.
Oh,
that was probably the hardest exercise of the day.
I can almost feel the core on that.
Yeah, right. So it goes through that really intense kind of slew of workouts, and then after that, she turned the fans on up there because at this time, like over the entire time, it's like hot. That's what hot yoga is.
So is it artificially hot, or is it just they don't circulate air?
It's artificially hot.
And how do they artificially heat it?
I don't know.
There's not like
I didn't notice.
Coal fire space heaters.
I don't know, man. It might have been. It didn't. I have no idea, honestly.
Really?
I'd look it up if you want to.
Just me, my analytical brain. I'd be like, how in the hell is this room heated?
I'll Google it in the background.
Well, I mean, So was the heat like 80 degrees or was it 110? Like, we talking sauna or are we talking like?
It was closer to sauna. It was pretty hot.
So it was way
like probably
more
like
than
100.
like just the air was not on.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Wow.
it was not because it was cold outside.
I guess they could have just turned the central air to heat.
Yeah.
In that room, I guess.
Maybe. Here. Yeah, I'll look it up, or you can look it up in the background while I'm talking about.
Whatever, yeah.
But anyway, so it's really hot, and you're doing all these workouts, and if you imagine, like, progresses, gets harder and harder and harder, you're doing all this stuff, and then you stop, and, like, the way it works is, like, you really strain your body, but in a really healthy way because it's all body weight.
Yeah.
And then when you're done, you're rewarded by chilling.
Yeah.
And then she turned the fans on for a second, and it was the most amazing airflow that I've felt in my entire life.
Oh, yeah.
She turns it back off, and after that, it's kind of like a wind down kind of thing. And the way that you end is like you're basically laying on your back, and this is where the music dies down, and it gets a lot more soothing, and like one hand is on your chest and one's on your stomach, and you're just like kind of laying there doing deep breathing and
enter the zen.
Yeah, enter the zen. So that's as zen as it got. This wasn't as zen as I expected because this was hot yoga, and this is more of a core workout than anything.
Right.
But it had elements of the mental kind of clarity junk that I was looking for. But yeah, so I loved it. I'm definitely going to do it again, maybe regularly, maybe weekly. But basically, I love the idea of being able to go somewhere where there are no stimulants and I have specific time during the week to dedicate to mental
I was just about to say that's probably even more because I would get in zen mode on the biking thing. Mm-hmm. You describing what you're doing right that's like kind of like
doesn't it sound
right up my alley? Yeah, it does sound amazing.
Dude, we should do yoga.
I've been interested in it, but I was gonna like bring a mat because I have back when I would kickbox, I have mat around the heavy bag. I think I'm gonna bring that mat because it's kind of big. I think I might bring just half of it down to my place because it's got the concrete polished floors or whatever.
Hard floors, yeah.
So, and I was just gonna YouTube like free things or download legally download free yoga.
well, so my friend Trey, I actually posted in the group about yoga, and he's like, dude, I just started doing yoga, but he does that. He watches YouTube videos that are free.
A lot of people do that, yeah.
So it's like totally an option. I'm probably gonna try it next.
The only thing is you probably couldn't do hot yoga because then you'd have to somehow heat. That's kind of what I was asking. I was like, I don't really want to heat up my apartment just to do like an hour yoga session and then have to cool it again.
Like Faris is going to sound crazy. We're going to need to turn the thermostat to like 110 degrees.
Faris is like, why do you have a grill in here? Like a gas grill. We're just like cranking it up. We got to do hot yoga and eat some hot dogs.
You'd be like, oh, dude, I want to join. And eat some hot dogs.
Grill them while we're holding the poses.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've heard it many times because like Joe Rogan gonna have that's the third time. Joe Rogan gonna have guests on and he'll mention hot yoga and like you can almost sense like his guests like look change of facial expression like what?
Really?
Joe Rogan doing yoga? Get out of here.
Yeah.
You like punch people's faces in. And he's like, no. And then he goes into like every time. It's just like, you do not want to underestimate hot yoga.
It's so true, dude. It's so true. And I didn't know any of this going in. I expected super chill yoga time, you know? And I didn't bring a water bottle. So every time we had a break, she was like, okay, make sure you take a few gulps of water. And I'm like, all right.
I got this.
I'll simulate a few drinks of water. But at the same time, like, you don't want to overdo it if you don't have water. Even if you do have water and you're a beginner and you don't work out and you haven't done yoga in the past, like, it can be very easy to dehydrate because I was sweating in that hot yoga more than I've ever sweated running ever.
Wow.
Easily. Like sweat just dripping off of your head and like everywhere. And it's because you're not only hot, but you're also like exerting yourself greatly.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think people think of yoga as just like this, like you said, like
girly man sport
slow
time.
thing. Yeah. But from what I hear,
it's hard
especially
stuff.
from you now, like it's like more intense than anybody can imagine. So is this like a paid place that you go to or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the way it works out is like you can pay a decent amount, like $15 for an hour session.
Yeah.
For just a one-time thing, or you can have a plan where you get like 10 sessions for cheaper.
That works because some people are just like, what is this? $15 is a pretty low entry level, and you don't have to buy really equipment except for like exercise clothes and stuff.
Right.
So it seems like a really easy thing to get into.
Mm-hmm. And this place provides mats and towels and everything, so you don't need a yoga mat. It's pretty cool. But yeah, that's my experience with yoga. So like, I mean, it sounds like you're interested in yoga too. Yeah,
I think I might try it just to. In the past, I downloaded a yoga app and then just poses or whatever, and I didn't really like it because it didn't really flow. I guess from what it just had like poses.
Oh yeah.
So I was like,
it wasn't like a program to follow.
Right? Yeah. It became quite apparent where I felt like I needed like more of a script of how it should go, and I just wasn't willing to whatever.
Yeah.
So I just stuck with my kickboxing, biking, and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like the reason this is good and why I like it more than an app is because it provides that motivation. Like I was talking earlier.
Well, when you go there, you're set there for whatever.
I've paid my money. I've got somebody making me do this.
Exactly.
I don't have to have motivation that I create because someone else is motivating me.
It's not like you're going to leave the class like 20 minutes in and be like, I'm out.
Yeah.
That's it.
Plus there are girls everywhere. That's nice.
That's what I was about to say. I'm like, so you sweat a lot, you get exercise, whatever, and there's yoga pants everywhere, I'm sure.
The stereotype is true.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure.
I want to emphasize that's not why I'm doing yoga. But yeah, so like the other thing is yoga has a lot of poses that they call by name. They call by name. So go into this pose like downward dog or like blah blah blah, all these different things. If I didn't blah 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 it's fan fiction, I just created it. But if I didn't do that like super beginner yoga thing before I did this body alive yoga that I just did, I would have had a lot harder of a time because when you progress and get further into the whole like parabola of events in that yoga class, she stops like showing you how to do it as much and just starts kind of saying it and using the names. And if I didn't have that foundation of which poses were which, I would have been completely confused. So that's why I had to like look around, look what the people around me are doing. And there's like 30 people in this room. So it's like, what's this person doing?
You don't want to be like accidentally like caught looking at someone's,
Yeah. But at the same time,
quit looking at me.
Yeah. It's like,
I don't know the poses.
I just want to know how to do a grasshopper.
I thought this was the blah blah blah, but it's not.
Right. But I mean, that's why it's good. It's like, I mean, it's almost impossible to avoid because you're in rows and there are mirrors everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, I'm just trying to figure out how to do this, man.
Pants everywhere. You're new. You're new to the town. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, what are you up to later? That's to the instructor. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it was neat because the instructor was the first other person I've seen with a green Nalgene.
Oh, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty much a match, Austin.
Nah, that's not. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so that's yoga, and that was my experience. It was a very good experience. I want to keep doing it.
Wow.
Consistently.
Okay. Maybe I think you should venture with it at home and then learn some poses.
Agreed.
I'll see what's up.
Then the next step is meditation.
Ah.
So have you ever meditated?
No.
Okay.
Well,
kind of a little bit like you haven't like.
I haven't sat Indian style in the woods and no.
Okay.
Well. Let me simmer on that.
Okay.
As you
as I monologue.
Yeah. So there is
Okay.
I go in meditative. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So basically, like, I've tried official quote unquote meditation a few times, like download an app and try it and listen to these people talk and like go on websites and listen to guided meditation. But I've never stuck with it over a long period of time. But I think that is what I'm looking for in yoga, really.
Right.
So yoga's delivering the core exercise and it's delivering to me like a little bit of the mental clarity that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But I feel like I feel like meditation is actually what I'm looking for because that and how my dad explains it, because I know he gets it from like a different podcast, but like it's called like the monkey mind or whatever that we have, where it's like our brain's going in 100 different directions at all times because that's how they work. And meditation is supposed to calm it down, point it in one direction, and reset you back to zero. Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of what I'm looking for.
Yeah. I would kind of, so it would be kind of like a non-formal type thing, but so my parents' house abuts a wine field, a vineyard. You saw it that fire party night.
Yeah, we walked in there. Yeah.
So I would go out to the middle of that because I love like looking at stars.
And you're wearing a purple shirt right now.
Yeah.
You're big grape.
Big damn grape.
Anyway.
But I would walk out there, especially in times of like turbulent lifetimes, like breaking ups or things like that,
emotional struggles.
And I would bring like a beer out there, and that was back when I smoked cigarettes, and I would just take whatever, and I wouldn't listen to music or whatever, and there's no stimulation because the cell phone light out there was very violent just because of how bright it is, and you would lose your night vision. So, and I did that up until I left to my new place. Like I've been doing this for a while, and moving back with my mom, that was one of the biggest perks, not only living, hanging out with my mom, but that wine field, man, like I missed it. And sometimes I would do on a driveway. I did this a lot growing up. So I would sneak out and go into the field and just like lay and look up the stars. And that's where I would kind of, and it wouldn't be just like, I'm doing this to do it. Sometimes I would do it just to do it, but a lot of times it was kind of like, cause it was a need. So I needed that like reset, and there was some big life thing that I needed to like conjure about and try to figure out. And a lot of times, it would be like, okay, Anthony, is this right? Is this what you really want to do? Or is this what you should be doing? Or is this how you should be reacting with someone? Or blah, blah, blah.
Surrounded by
and a lot of times, and it was like that, where it was that like space where I could critically think kind of outside of my ego type situation. So it was like free. It was like, okay, let's try to think of it in the different angles of what you're doing or what has happened or what you should do. And man, I mean, it's living there definitely shaped my life big time. Like Ohio State, college was like a renaissance of like learning and knowledge and things like that.
Yeah.
But like that field and just having that tranquil, I just can't express it. Like, I think I've told you about it in the past. I lament about it all the time. But it really is like that field. Like if they ever turn that into like a subdivision, I will be seriously depressed because I would go out there and it would just be just wonderful. And yeah, a lot of things have come about that. And I think like just my mental health was definitely helped out by those experiences out there.
Yeah.
So I think I would do that, but like exercising on a bike trail, there's a certain like 20-minute stretch where I would just go into like a Zen type of state almost, where like everything was just pumping.
Yeah.
It was just whatever. And I would just like lose track of everything.
Kinda
and I wouldn't even, but I wouldn't really focus on anything, kind of like out in the vineyard in the wine field. But yeah. I don't know. So I wouldn't say I would sit down Indian style and like, okay, I need guided whatever.
Yeah.
But I've definitely made, strategic decisions to be like, okay, I am doing this to mentally, reset or critically think about decisions and life choices and stuff like that.
It's because there's
I love meditation. And it would be like eyes closed and like actually just thinking. So it's
like just as good.
Yeah.
That's like that's what meditation is.
Yeah.
Like no mental noise.
Yeah.
From anywhere. Because even if you're around people, even if they're not talking to you, there's that mental noise. Like you can feel it.
I see what you're saying.
You can feel other people that are around you.
Yeah, they're like, is that person looking at me? Like, what are they? Like, if all of a sudden you start doing like this or whatever, you're going to be self-conscious of that person, looking at you or just being there.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I 100% get where you're coming from with that.
It's excellent. It's actually, it's like
it's like when in Put-in-Bay when we like laid out on that dock.
I was a little inebriated, but yeah, I remember seeing like the Milky Way. I was just like in wonder. I was like, you guys, like that's not a cloud, that's flipping stars. That's like a lot of stars. And the reason why we see it like that is because we're in a disc. I remember. I was like trying to do like science and stuff.
That's good. Yeah. But we laid there for we just laid on this dock when we went and Put-in-Bay and just looked at stars for like an hour.
We were there for a while, yeah.
We weren't supposed to be on that dock.
What?
We were not supposed to be on that dock.
I know that was a neighbor's dock. Yeah. But also, I mean, we go in basements and roofs and
That's
stuff.
That's true. Yeah. It's all par for the course. But yeah, I totally get that. That's kind of, I get sort of the same thing living in Kenwood now out of my night walks. So
I see. Yeah.
Almost every day I'll go on a walk of some kind, with or without music, because music kind of, it accomplishes the same thing where it is a stimulant, but it's a stimulant that counteracts everything else, and it's like, this is what you're listening to, this creates your mood, and this chills you out, and
it takes away like your exterior like car noises and honks and
exactly. And now you talk, it's like it's putting me in that space now where like when I first moved here it was hard adjusting because it's the first time I've lived kind of away,
so and more like there's more around probably more dense here.
it's the first time I've been within walking distance of any establishment of any kind.
Yeah.
So just walking around and like exploring and seeing new things and putting in music, especially at night when there's no one around. So it's like these big shopping centers and businesses and everything, but it's completely depopulated because it's dark and everyone's at their houses.
Yeah,
there's something really, really just freaking peaceful about that.
Sounds calming.
It's like being in a mall when it's closed.
I see what you're saying.
When it's empty. When you still see the lights on in the stores a little bit,
Yeah.
and there's still like some of the music playing, but there's no one around.
Yeah.
It's like you've found a passage into like an alternate dimension where it's just like only you, and it's like extreme peace.
I can totally see that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, I mean, living here, that's kind of my version, I guess, of your wine field.
Yeah.
And it's something that I need. Like after this, I'll probably go on a walk or something. Okay. I have to check out the FBI building that we were talking about earlier.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I totally get that, and I think that's what a lot of people are missing in this day and age is like a time and a place to just turn everything off and just give TLC to your brain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you have like good winter attire, like going out?
Sure.
So when it snows, like I'm sure you know this, like everything is more quiet.
Yeah.
That would probably be amazing here because it would be the most quiet you'll ever experience in Kenwood. Mm-hmm. In the snowy evening, walking to. I'm already like, I'm picturing it right now. I'm like, oh, because like one of my favorite, like I have like little totems, like time totems, like in past where I can like transport myself back to like this experience.
Right.
Which I'm sure I just call them totems.
Put yourself in that mental space.
Right. Yeah. And like my favorite one, I think ever, like if I'm ever doing, this is going to sound graphic, but if I'm ever going through a slow death, like bleed out, this is where I'm projecting myself. Like I just know my brain is going to go back to this.
Yeah.
I would pack up like a sandwich or whatever. And my dog, Sandy, is a golden retriever.
Yeah.
And I would go hiking in the woods. And one of my favorite hikes I ever went with my dog, Sandy, into the woods was when it was like a heavy, big, fluffy snowfall where the snowflakes are just like almost impossible that they're that big falling from the sky. And where all you just hear is it's the specific memory is like, so Sandy would not really follow right next to my side, but she would like go up and down and like follow deer trails and do dog things.
Right.
But I remember this specific moment where all it was the creek, which is like this little babbling, like little creek.
Yeah, really small.
And I was following that along because it's easier to travel. And dead quiet, man. Dead quiet with the snow falling through the trees. And I remember just looking over my right shoulder because I would just do the unconscious like check to see where Sandy was.
Yeah. And
just looking up, and she's up like more on the ridge, like following along with me. In the, through the snow as I'm walking, just like looking like that, looking up at her and then back to whatever. And for some reason, that's like snapshot in my brain. Like, just so is probably the most peaceful thing I can project myself to. So if I just know, like, I don't know. Yeah. Like, if something's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that too.
Where your brain's like pumped with dopamine or whatever. Yep. And it's just like, that's my euphoric state.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
And now, like, I usually don't talk about it, but yeah.
I mean, kind of like the totem of like the girl giving the homeless person the sandwich or something.
Yeah, that was a humanity totem, right? Yeah, that's another. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
that's why. That's what. Yeah, right. And I mean, there's something just dead and silent about the wintertime because you don't hear the bugs. Like the bugs are all underground.
Yeah.
And
I think it's the harshness where it's like survival, like
and that's really, what I'm so excited about.
Quiet and like really black and white.
Yes,
not just in color, but like just death and life.
Like
like back in the day, death and life was if you had enough meat stored or had enough wood chopped for your family, to be warm at night, or not.
Yeah,
or you die. It's that winter is like.
And it's still survival. Yeah, and I feel like as people, we still have that primal
cold
feeling exactly inside of us.
Yeah.
So for that to happen to Kenwood, I'm very excited. I actually moved in here when it was wintertime, but it was kind of on the tail end of it because it was in February.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't remember it snowing much when I was up here.
I don't really remember a ton. Plus, you probably weren't in like
exactly.
You're in the walking like this is what I do now here. I like it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I kind of waited to start walking until it was springtime.
Which makes sense, yeah.
But yeah, now that I'm used to the area and everything, I totally have winter gear and I'm so ready. Like I can't remember who I was talking to. Oh yeah, and I can't remember who I was talking to, but I was talking to somebody about how I love to walk around, and they're like, "Oh, you kind of bummed about wintertime happening soon?" And I was like, "No, I'm excited because
that's good.
Everything you basically said, plus like when you finally get to that destination that you're working towards." It's so much more rewarding when it's wintertime because it's like inside is straight up shelter.
Yeah, exactly.
Inside feels cozy.
That life thing.
Yeah.
And plus, you're going to have a winter wonderland here with all the Christmas. Austin lives in an area that is...
It's like shopping district of Cincinnati, basically.
Yeah, it's pretty much, especially for Christmas, it seems like Mecca. Mm-hmm. Like, it seems like it's real. I remember, just coming to Kenwood to like Cheesecake Factory or whatever restaurant. It just feels like family time,
Yeah.
Like for outings or whatever.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah,
we were talking about that at work earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, I'm mega stoked for that, seeing how that works out. Because, like, it is heavily populated, and then when it gets all dark and everybody goes home, it's going to be just completely dead. So it's the best of both worlds.
Oh, and it gets dark early in the snow. Yeah, I hope we have a decent amount of snow. That's why I don't think I could ever live without seasons. I think I, obviously
like
could.
San Francisco.
Yeah. I could probably... adapt to it, but I would definitely miss the seasons. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily spring or fall, though they're awesome.
What? But, those are my favorite ones.
It seems like they're so short here.
That they are. Fall is like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, it feels like when I was a kid, maybe because of the time differences, in the interpretation of time back then.
Yeah.
But it seemed like fall and spring were much longer.
Yeah.
Now, I do love when it changes from cold to like warm, where it's like, shorts, F you pants, because I hate pants, except for when they're necessary.
Yeah, Anthony hates pants.
Yeah, if I could wear shorts, I'd be in the shorts all the time.
Yeah.
But, no, I think I like the winter just because it kind of makes me appreciate the warm weather all that much more. And it also, but I like winter sports like skiing and stuff like that. But I like the ruggedness where you got to like, buckle down, you gotta scrape your car window, and you're I remember I had a Camaro back in high school and college, and it was just like, let's go Camaro, I know you're not made for this, but we're gonna just wing it, and we're just gonna deal with it.
Yep.
The back end would be sloppy all over the highway, it'd be like crazy, borderline out of control all the time, and it was just like, and it was just, I don't know, it's like a test almost.
It is, and like when you're in it, sometimes it sucks, but once you get through it, I feel like it's stimulating.
Yeah, and then when your car like warms up and you got everything going, and you're going, it's just like, it's so like an accomplishment. Yeah, it's cozy.
It's like that whole life thing where it's like, would you rather live on a constant like just flat line, or would you rather have a series of really harsh hardships followed by bliss, basically, because of the hardships?
Yeah.
So it's getting through all those hardships that results in the satisfaction, the reward of basically returning to status quo.
Yeah, and this is the third or fourth time
I think
this
is the fourth time.
Okay. But
everyone tweet at Joe Rogan because he needs to either come here or we need to go on his podcast.
Well, he came from Boston, like born and raised. They have like some harsh winters, and he lives in LA now. And he says like people that are in cities that have harsh winters are just fundamentally different people than people that have like just constant steady like sunshine or whatever. Like he says it makes harder people. Like it's just like whatever. I'm not trying to like boast ourselves up here, but I'm just saying like it's definitely a different lifestyle, and it's got to have a change on personality and psyche and all that stuff.
1000% yes.
Yeah. I wouldn't have my big Zen moment with Sandy unless there was, winter and snowing. I just love it. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I completely agree. What would you say your favorite season is?
Oh man.
It's hard to pick. It's hard to pick, but there's really only 4. So
I like summer because of the hiking and the camping and the fires and stuff like that. And the lack of pants. But I don't have one. I can't say.
Okay. All right.
I would say as I get older, winter is following less. Because back when I was a kid, it was like school snow days, sledding, skiing. I was out. Yeah, winter I was out. Not as much during the summer, obviously, but I was outside a lot, even in winter. Because it was just fun to bundle up.
Yeah.
I even had like a gas mask that I had. Yeah, my friends up the street lived. It was up this big hill. And this is, long story.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah. So my 2 best friends in the neighborhood lived up the street, Joe and Brian. And I lived at the bottom of the cul-de-sac. Kind of.
Shout out to the cul-de-sac.
Maybe not even. I don't know. As a kid, it was a decent hike. And when it was like snowstorm, like they would call down on a landline. This is before like texting. And they would call down and be like, Anthony, we're having, we're watching a movie or whatever. You should come up. Or it was like the UK game or whatever I was into back then.
Right.
And I would be like, oh, I want to hang out in the sleepover, even though it was like whatever. And I would have to convince my parents, like, I'll just walk up there, like, we'll drive you. Like, no, I want to walk.
Yeah.
So even back then, I was always like,
just
I want the challenge, like whatever. I had this Israeli gas mask that I had my parents buy me for a Halloween costume. I was going to be a hazmat person.
Okay, nice.
And I got this like sportsman guide in the mail. I don't know how it came to me.
I don't know either.
I would get it monthly. Anyways.
But of course you did.
So it was like a military surplus thing. So it was like $15 or $20 for this old Israeli gas mask thing with a filter. Anyways, got that. Found out that it turned out to be super awesome in the winter.
Really?
Because it was basically, okay, so picture a gas mask without the filter in the front. You can screw them on and off.
Oh, okay.
So you take the filter off. Then you're just breathing freely through two valves.
What the?
In and out.
Did you look like a psychopath?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm 100% sure.
I'm just picturing like Psycho Mantis from Metal Gear Solid.
Was here with the laser tag?
Yeah.
Like, honey.
Yeah. Carl,
the laser men are here again. The spacemen. They probably looked out their, the cozy little window and saw a kid with two. So the gas mask I had two circle eye holes, windows.
Sure.
And then just like a nose that protruded out, kind of like a dog snout.
Yeah.
But not quite.
Okay.
And what I would do is bundle up in like ski pants, boots, and then I had this
a gas mask.
So I love descriptive novels, so I'm gonna explain this descriptively.
Okay, go for it.
So I had the ski boots, ski pants, layered, bundled. And my dad bought me a military coat that had the fur around the hood.
Okay.
And it belonged to a midget in the Air Force. I'm not making this up. Because it was so small. So they couldn't sell it. And my dad saw it. And I remember he told me, he asked the person, like, where did you get this such a small thing for a military thing? And they said it was for like a little person. I'm sorry, not midget, little person. Whatever. Anyways, I remember him why I remember these things and not other things is beyond me. Anyways, so that's what I had. So I had like a furry, like hooded thing. And then out from the furry hooded thing was my gas mask protruding out with just two, circle eyes.
Heck?
And I would walk up the street because normally I would ride my bike, but when it's too cold, it's,
everyone else would go inside.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
and I would walk up.
Back.
But I thought it was cool as hell because it was like a Mount Everest-y type thing. And all I could see, like my vision was just through these two holes. And all I could hear was...
That is pretty awesome.
And I would like look over this way. I would have no peripheral vision. Yep. So it felt like kind of like Spaceman mixed with Mount Everest type climbing.
That is awesome, actually.
Like as a kid, I was like, it was just cool. The fact that I could do that. And the thing is, what was so great about the gas mask was no wind burn. So I was completely warm. So I felt completely sealed. Mm-hmm. Like neighbors could look out. So now I'm picturing a neighbor looking out, and it would be like wind blowing sideways with snow, just with snow drifts.
Yeah.
And I'm walking up. I'm completely warm. Yes. It looks like I would be miserable, but I'm just like, walking. Oh, I loved it. I remember so cool. I loved it.
Man. Oh, man.
I don't know how I got on that. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, we were talking about seasons.
I'm lamenting on childhood things.
No, that's
all
good.
Over this podcast.
That was fantastic. That was fantastic. You really set the scene.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite season is definitely fall, which is unfortunate because, like we were talking earlier, it lasts all of 2 weeks here.
It feels so short now. Yeah.
It does. Like we come out of summer when it's really hot. Yeah. All of a sudden, it's the perfect temperature, and the trees are beautiful. The leaves are falling off. I would come out of my house like every couple of days. Yeah. Well, not that I would only come out of my house every couple of days, but
yeah.
I would walk outside and just look down the street, and it's like all these trees are half the leaves fell off of them, and the rest of them are orange, and you just see them blowing in the wind, and it's the perfect temperature, and the sun's out, and it's just the most beautiful sight. looking at Kenwood in the fall. It's so gorgeous.
I agree. It is definitely a nice time of the year.
Yeah, and I love pants. Actually, I'm the exact opposite.
Really?
So if y'all are, if y'all are keeping like a tally on the differences between Anthony, you must be up to at least 3 now.
That's a big one. Yeah.
But I love actually wearing jeans, and I love winter attire. So I love sweatshirts, and I love long sleeves and everything like that. It's just like the stuff that I prefer to wear.
Okay.
So when it gets a little bit chillier, when I can actually start wearing that stuff, I like it.
Yeah. Okay.
And then it goes into winter. I think I prefer winter more than summer just because I cannot stand being hot.
Yeah, I mean, me too. Hot. Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah. At the same time, like coming out of winter, that first day of summer or the first day of spring, I'm freaking jacked.
Okay.
Because it's like the making it through the hardship to get to the moment of bliss thing. Like the first day of spring when I can put my windows down and drive home, I'm absolutely ecstatic.
Yeah, put some good music on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Something like that. But yeah, I love it too. So, I mean, I love all the different seasons for different reasons, but I think I love, like most people, I love the end cap seasons like spring and fall.
The transition, yeah.
Yeah, the transition ones that are really short here. But yeah, I think those are my 2 favorite ones.
Yeah, you're in, I think we're in like a constant like flux of like appreciation for what we're leaving and going into.
Yep.
Maybe not so much leaving. Like you said with the hot, like some summers it's just like, especially in the Ohio Valley.
Yeah.
It can get so muggy and you're like, winter, thank God.
Yep.
And then winter is like, like, yeah.
Speaking of leaving, this transitions us to the end of not only the fall, but the end of this podcast.
Oh no, I don't want to leave Austin.
I know, man. This was a good one. This felt good. This was a fun conversation to have.
Yeah, it was good.
And for all y'all that like the deep conversations, we just gave you a freaking shot of deep conversations.
It was about an hour.
Into your arm. But I loved it. We hope you enjoyed it too. This has been episode 26 of the P Funk and Fro Show. Yep. Thank you for joining us, folks, once again for like the 80th time. Facebook.com/group/PFunkandFro and follow us on Twitter at PFunkandFro. Tweet at Joe Rogan.
Tweet at oh my God.
Get us on the Joe Rogan Experience.
There? Oh my God.
If you want to see PFunkandFro rapping on freaking the Joe Rogan Experience, I know if one of us, Anthony, needs to go at least.
I've tweeted at him before, but not for those. But
yeah. But thank you for joining us. We hope you continue to listen, subscribe, and like it, and share with your friends. And we'll see you next week. Until next time, see you
later.